The Hunter seems like a pretty big break from the previous four.
Okay.
Was that a conscious decision?
A break?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the record, it just kind of is what it is. You know, we didn't really, it wasn't, I guess it was unconscious. We didn't really think about it like, oh, we need to take a break and do something different. We didn't really think about it that way. It just kind of happened that way. We built a small recording studio. Like, every record we've been getting closer to kind of having it all in-house, or at least I have, because I like to be in control of like recording it, and when ideas come around, capturing them when they happen, rather than, because a lot of times you'll write something and you might forget it or forget the spontaneity of it. Like you write a riff and then like you go back to write it to remember it later, and it's like it's the same notes but it's not the same feel. So with this record, we had the studio built, microphones on everything, and when we did the demos, it's like, hey, I've got an idea. Okay, let's record it. We recorded it right then and there and had the idea. That way when we went back to it later, it was just very from the heart. Like, yeah, that's the riff, the way I wrote it the first time.
So where was the studio built?
It's in Atlanta. It's in our practice pad where we practice. You know, it's just more like a separate room where you can be quiet. You can not, have all the microphones hooked up and all the time, and that way you go in there and you can actually hear stuff and it's quiet. Because before we've been trying to record stuff and it's one person's playing over here and it's bleeding through over here, and so it's just a little bit more professional, I guess. So the Hunter record, we kind of come up with riffs and record them right then and there, and then we just didn't think so hard about it this time. Like with the past records, we'd spent months and months and months like perfecting each song and rearranging each song and changing each song and putting this part in front of that part and then this part over here, and we just kept, and everything. I'm proud of all our past records, but the newest one was just more spontaneous. It's just kind of like, I like that idea, let's just go with it, So that was the departure from spending months and months and months in the studio trying to rearrange, make the songs more difficult than they really were.
So the perfection comes then from recording immediately that you want to hear at that moment?
I think that had a lot to do with it for me. I was just coming up with ideas like in our studio and hitting record, and I like the way that sounds, just the way it is, and then we'd kind of fit it into the song somewhere. We'd write a song around that riff, and it just happened like really fast. It was like within 3-4 weeks we had the record ready and done, and it was just really crazy. So.
Okay, so for you, you talked about this room, the studio. What kind of aspects does a good studio need to have apart from the technical details?
Well, ours is still like, being built as far as all the technical stuff, but for a good studio, it's just, for me, it's just to have all your amplifiers and everything set up. All the microphones on everything set up and at a good level, so that when you have an idea, you don't have to go, all right, let's get a microphone on this thing. Let's get, let's get a test it. Okay, sounds good. Have everything ready to go at a moment's notice. That way, because ideas come and go very quickly. Ideas for songs and stuff, and as you get older, you forget them. I do. So I'm like, okay, well, let's have the studio ready to go, and it's just another little room that's attached to the live room. It's called a control room. I always wanted to have a control room where you go inside there. People can play, and you can't hear it with the door closed, so you just turn the microphones on, and then you can hear everything, and you can control it. Say, okay, I got a good drum sound, I got a good guitar mix, good bass, and now we can do vocals. We can do it all here in our studio. We don't have to go to someone else's studio and carry all our stuff there. And for me, it's just more comfortable that way. That way, there's no pressure. Because when you go into someone else's studio, the clock is ticking, and the money is going out the window. You know what I mean?